What's up, family, and welcome back to another episode of the Melanin Wellness Podcast. Y'all, it is full blown summer outside. Are you outside catching those sun rays? If you are, I hope you're using sunscreen. But listen, I have been having the absolute time of my life this summer. It's been an amazing summer so far, and it's just beginning. We've got plenty of hot, sunny days. So we want to be out there looking fine and slim and meeting our weight loss goals. Our health and wellness goals are super important. And, most of us don't know what we don't know, and we don't know how big of a role something like protein plays in your actual overall weight loss and well being. So that's what today's episode is going to be all about. However, before we start the episode, y'all know how we do over here. We always give our 30 seconds of gratitude. I am so grateful for my dishwasher because y'all, my sink in my kitchen is out of commission. And without my dishwasher, I would have a sink full of dirty dishes, and that would drive me insane. I am grateful for whole healthy foods that give me the energy that I need to get up and do what I need to do every day. My family and I just returned from a vacation in San Francisco. And so we are on the East Coast. So for those of you, everybody knows that there is a time difference. It's a 3-hour time difference. And listen, y'all, that time difference has been putting my family through the ringer. So I have needed a lot of energy to sustain me, to help me to kind of try to get back to normal. So whole healthy foods have definitely played a huge role in helping me to get back to my normal self and back to my regular sense of wellness. I'm also grateful for the funny TV show that I watched last night. It was absolutely comical. And as I told you guys in a previous episode, laughter is a daily thing for me, and it helps to boost the metabolism. So I absolutely love to laugh, and I'm so grateful for that movie. And I'm also grateful for whole plant-based supplements and resources that help to sustain my wellness. There are so many supplements and holistic plant-based ways that we can support our wellness. And in a future episode, I'm going to be discussing one that many people do not even know that I use, but it is a vital part of my wellness. So I am so grateful for that. Now, I know that was more than 30 seconds, but y'all know it usually go over. It usually goes over 30 seconds, and it's all good because when you're giving gratitude, you can never be grateful enough. It doesn't matter how much gratitude you practice, because the more grateful you are, the more you open up the door and allow for blessings and overflow and abundance to flow into your life. So be as grateful as you need to be whenever you need to be. All right. Now, let's get into this episode where we're going to be talking about understanding how much protein you need and how to get those protein resources for your health and wellness. So protein plays such an important role in your health and weight loss plans. And a lot of people, equate protein to being bulky or gaining weight, when actually, if you're taking in the correct amount of protein, it will actually help you to lose weight as well as help your body to tone up. I've learned this recently, and I'm going to be sharing the results on social media, where I had taken a picture of myself before I started really, really increasing my protein. And I was trying to lose weight before my family vacation. And I want to say in a week, 1 week, I increased my protein amount, decreased my added sugar, and I lost 5 pounds in that 1 week. By week 2, I'd already lost another 5 pounds. So I was down 10 pounds, and I could see a huge difference. But we'll get into that more a little bit in just a little while. So there's always a question with protein is, can you get too much of a good thing? And the answer to that, of course, is yes. You can always get too much of anything. You can get too much water. You can waterboard yourself by drinking too much water. So yes, you can get too much of anything, but let's find out how to balance that. Right? So here are a few facts about protein that may be surprising for some, but some may be common knowledge for others, but that's why I'm here. So make sure that you're following recommended guidelines, along with carbs, which are needed. because it acts as the body's fuel. And healthy fats. Proteins are an essential macronutrient, right? So federal guidelines suggest about 56 grams a day for men and 46 grams per day for women. Now, I didn't pull up the statistics when it comes to children, but it would probably be way more than that because they're growing, their bodies are trying to form. You've got, brains forming and all these things. So you would probably want to get more grams per day when it comes to the little people. Then you want to avoid excess consumption. So most Americans eat twice as much protein as they actually need, according to the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. And overdoing it can increase the risk of kidney disease, osteoporosis, and certain cancers. So again, that is the reason why you're constantly hearing health professionals and health pros and fitness coaches and people like myself constantly saying a balanced diet. The key here is balance with everything. Too much of anything is going to cause a deficit with other things. And that is not what we want here. That's not healthy. Okay. Now, understand the thermic advantage of protein. So one reason protein makes dieting easier is because the digestion that process that your body goes through to digest protein burns more calories. It works harder to burn those excess calories. And so you use up about 30 calories for every 100 calories you eat, compared to 12 calories for fats or 7 calories to burn carbohydrates. So you see that there's a significant difference when your body's trying to burn protein and digest that protein as opposed to when it is digesting other things. That's one of the reasons why if you go to www.eatmyplate, if you go to Eat My Plate, on that screen, it's going to show you the majority of your plate is supposed to be a protein. You have a certain amount of protein, and then your next is going to be your fruits or vegetables, depending on what time of day you're going to eat. And then you've got your healthy fats as well on the plate and your carbs on the plate. So go there, and that's a good resource for you to use to be able to determine how much you need for your specific body weight, your specific body type. Because again, fitness is not a one size fits all thing, nor is diet or, nutrition is not a one size fits all thing. Everybody has something that's a little bit different that they need. And so you would want to use tools like that. One resource is that to use to help you to figure that out. Which leads me right into the next portion I wanted to discuss, eating to meet your general protein needs, right? So you also want to be drinking plenty of water. And I know I talk about this constantly on here, drink your water, drink your water, drink your water. I'm sure you hear it constantly all day long, but water is definitely important. Protein digestion creates an excess of uric acid and other waste products. And so the only way to eliminate that is drinking extra water. It helps to protect your kidneys by helping them to filter out that excess uric acid and the other waste products, helping to filter it out better so that you don't succumb to issues like kidney infections and things like that. That's one of the reasons why when you do have a kidney infection, they say you have excess protein in your urine. Yeah, I didn't think about that, huh? Next, space out your intake, right? So your body can only process so much protein at a time. And that goes for anything. And if you don't space it out, you could run the risk of becoming constipated because your body is going to just back up inside of your intestines, and you don't want that. So trade in your big steak dinner for small servings all day long. Now, I used to love steak. Me and beef do not have a good relationship anymore. So I very rarely eat red meat because my body simply just doesn't like it. It rejects it, and I become very sick. And so I typically don't eat red meat. Every once in a while, if it's a really special occasion, like if my husband is taking me out for our anniversary or for a birthday dinner for him, we may have a steak. But again, I do know that I run the risk of becoming ill, and that's why I implore the use of something called a dietary enzyme, and it does help my body to break down the protein better, and I'm not suffering as much. So, but I'll get into that in a whole nother episode about some of the supplements that I use that help me stay healthy and fit and well. All right. So now have protein for breakfast. Now, I do this daily. My routine typically looks like a little something like I get up in the morning and I will have something protein infused as a pre-workout, right? So when I first wake up, whether it's a scoop of peanut butter or peanut butter toast or a small bowl of oatmeal, I will have protein first thing in the morning. I'll give myself about a 45-minute window, and then I work out because it helps to boost my performance, helps to give me more energy, and I'm not feeling hungry. Because if I feel hungry, I can't work out. That's just me. I ain't doing it. And then after I work out and complete that workout and I get cleaned up, take my shower and everything like that, I then eat again a few hours later, a couple hours later, something like that. And it is more protein. I do have some eggs and fruit most mornings. I do other things like banana pancakes. Sometimes I'll do another bowl of oatmeal, but typically not. But eating protein in the morning definitely, not only does it help boost my weight loss, but it helps to boost my metabolism as well. That protein is getting in there and it's protein. So early morning is always the ideal time to start. You will rev your metabolism and you're going to feel less hungry later. Now, for me personally, again, everyone is different, but I know that the more I work out, the hungrier I tend to be. So for me, it's definitely revving my metabolism, and I can definitely feel the difference because I have more energy and I'm also not hanging on to the weight afterwards because my metabolism is continuously burning throughout the day because I am taking in small amounts of protein throughout my day. So like it's almost lunchtime for me. And so at lunch, I'm going to have probably some chicken and some steamed veggies and some brown rice because that is going to help fuel me until it's time for my afternoon snack. But again, small meals, smaller meals instead of those huge meals of protein is what's helping me to stay energized and feeling well. All right. Eat more fish. I absolutely love fish. I eat fish a lot. I eat it baked. I eat it grilled. I eat it fried sometimes, not very often, but eating more fish is one of the best sources of lean protein. And that's the key here. We want to be taking in lean protein because it's going to help you better toward your weight loss goals. And fish also has so many important antioxidants. And that's always so important for us, especially as we get older. We are looking for ways to boost our skin and boost our health. And antioxidants are play a key role in that. Enjoy eggs. Now, for me, my journey with eggs has been a tumultuous one because in 2016 I found out I was allergic to eggs. So I would become very sick and I would break out all over every time I ate eggs. And so it took a lot of trial and error for me to find out the correct product that I could eat. I can eat egg beaters. I can't eat strictly egg whites to this day still. I still get sick off of that. But I can eat egg beaters. There are also products out there that are plant-based. There's a plant-based egg out there called Just Egg. And I've tasted that before. And it tastes pretty close to eggs. So I go back and forth between an egg beater and just eggs. So most healthy adults can safely eat up to one egg a day. And eggs are really nutritious. They're packed with so much protein, and you definitely need that. Now, the cost of eggs has kind of gone up significantly over the past couple of years, but I'm starting to notice them coming down a bit. However, eggs are an essential part of that protein, and you can put that in the morning. You can boil you an egg as long as you don't have any, dietary restrictions with that. You can boil an egg and have a boiled egg in the morning. You can scramble them. You can make egg cups. You can make quiches. You can find so many ways to get eggs into your diet, and it is an excellent source of protein. Choose the right dairy products. So low fat and no fat dairy products deliver protein with less saturated fats. And you want to make sure that you are reducing your saturated fats because the higher saturated fats, it's going to play a role in your cholesterol. So you see how your diet is playing a role with almost everything with your body, right? So you can also opt to have a yogurt. Greek yogurt is one of my favorites. I absolutely love it. It doesn't bother my stomach because, again, my body is so sensitive and it doesn't like dairy either. And so I have to have either lactose free options or plant based options. I drink oat milk. I love it. I put it in almost everything in my oatmeal. When I do have coffee, I'll put it in there. Uh, I use it in almost everything. It's delicious to me. It tastes amazing. And it is better for my particular dietary needs. And so I will drink that. Again, Greek yogurt is an amazing source and of protein. And to me, it just tastes good. It tastes good. It doesn't taste quite as slimy to me as traditional yogurt. But I digress. That's me. So we also want to be limiting high fat meats, right? So many experts recommend eating red meat twice a week or less. And that is because with red meat, prior to me stopping eating red meat, I would only have red meat in my family every 3 days or so. And that's because studies have shown that it takes 3 days to process one burger or one steak. And so if you keep, again, piling that on and piling that in, you run the risk of becoming constipated. And that is not a fun feeling. Okay. So go for leaner cuts or put chunks of white chicken on a salad, or I've even put fish on a salad or grilled shrimp. Scrumptious, y'all. Just scrumptious. Okay. And switch to some beans and lentils. Now, my kids positively hate lentils. They think lentils are disgusting. Personally, I love them, especially if they're prepared correctly. But beans and lentils are good for you and for your wallet because they are relatively inexpensive to purchase and inexpensive to prepare and make them taste delicious. If you add in all the spices and herbs, as I told you in the past episode of reducing added fats, reducing added sugars and salts, you add those right spices, you don't even need extra salt in that. So that's one way to make beans and lentils more palatable because a lot of people don't like beans, but they are packed with protein and they're an excellent source of fiber, which is crucial for everybody to be getting the proper amounts of fiber in their diet because, again, nobody wants to be constipated. I know I've talked about constipation a lot this episode, but it's a real thing. It happens. It can happen to all of us, especially if we are not getting the necessary things in our diets. And oftentimes we will not be getting the correct things in our diet and will immediately run to something like a probiotic or a laxative when all it will take is a few tweaks within our diet. Right? So whip up a bowl of chili or some delicious homemade soup and chili. Turkey chili is one of my favorites. All right. Make sure you're reading your labels as well. Marketers know that protein is a popular buzzword that sells. So check your labels on protein bars and other products for added sugars and salts and chemicals you may want to avoid because some of those protein bars, I've looked at the backs of them and the ingredients and those protein bars are anything but healthy. Some of them are so packed with so much extra sugar. And check the grams because every food has a nutritional label on it, and you can flip it over and look right there in the grocery store before you even purchase it. You can flip it over and take a look and see how much salt, sugar, protein, carbohydrates. You can get all of those details on the back of your food label. So make sure you're reading them. And be sure to try to fill your plate with natural whole foods as much as possible. Places like farmers markets have some of the most amazing whole foods, and you're helping to support local businesses. So it's a win-win. And again, you can start a little garden. I think I talked about that on a previous episode as well. I have one in my kitchen and I can grow some of the herbs that I use the most frequently. And all I have to do is go harvest and I'm good and it'll just keep growing for me. So I told you guys at the beginning that I would also address eating with special protein needs. And this is specific to those of us who may be flexitarian, pescatarian, vegetarian, vegan. Sometimes we have a difficult time getting the correct amounts of protein in. And I remember when I kind of started leaning toward vegetarianism, I remember my doctor saying to me, make sure you're getting the correct amount of protein. And there was a point in the journey where I didn't know what I was doing, and and I was not getting enough. And I remember I would feel so weak and so lethargic and so exhausted most times. And it was because I wasn't getting enough protein. Even now, if I don't get enough protein, I can feel it. And I know that that's the problem. And I'll immediately go and try to grab a source of protein, like some nuts. I will have some seeds, some cashews, I'll go whip up something really quick with some chia seeds, or anything to infuse some protein in quickly to allow my body to absorb it really quickly to give my body that boost that I need. So jumpstart your weight loss results and goals. So in addition to the thermic effects of protein, it's very effective at promoting satiety. That means that you can manage your appetite better and feel comfortable while eating less. And that's because protein fills you up more. Aim to get about 30% of your total calories from protein, 30% from fat, and 60% from carbohydrates. Now remember, carbohydrates are the body's fuel, so it's the equivalent of going to the gas pump and putting gasoline in your car. You need carbohydrates. You need them. Your body needs them. They are not the devil. Now, again, too much of anything is not good. And you also want to make sure that you try to filter out the carbs that are not as bad as others, like potato chips. I know that they're terrible. I know they're awful, but they're my weakness. So you can also build muscle when you are taking in a lot of protein, taking in the correct amounts of protein. So moderate exercise has little effect on your dietary requirements, right? However, if you're looking to build some muscle and you want to use a protein supplement, consider fat absorbing products such as whey protein powder. I use it. My children use it. They're athletes, and I've discussed that. And actually, I'm going to have an episode where I have all the children on, and they're going to discuss the physical and the dietary and even the social and emotional, mental pressures and struggles that they may have from being athletes. And we're going to talk all about that. And so those protein shakes, they absorb into the body very quickly, and they do help to boost your results and helping you build some muscle. So if you're looking to build some muscle, add some protein, some whey protein is good. Go vegetarian. You could do that too. So it's easy to get all the protein you need without animal products. Good protein sources, as I touched on earlier, such as beans, lentils, and soy products. Now, some of us have a sensitivity to soy. However, there are whole lists where you can get protein sources. As a matter of fact, I'll attach one to this episode in the show notes that you can just click and just hop on my email list, and you can get this free download of protein sources. So there will be options for vegetarians, it'll be options for vegans, it'll be options for everybody, just in case you don't know, or maybe you're considering going vegetarian, and you don't quite know where to start. You can grab that list, and it'll help give you a starting point to know where you can get your protein sources. And finally, if you are with child or you are trying to conceive a child, if you will produce 70 grams of protein a day or more when you have a baby, like, y'all, that's crazy. That's madness. I did not know that. And I have had 6 children. But that is, and I think that the reason why our bodies produce more protein after we have children is because we need that extra boost, because we literally just brought a whole nother human being in our lives. And for those of us who breastfeed, we definitely need that extra protein and that extra help to adequately sustain that person that we just brought into this world. All right, so which one of these was surprising to you? Because I know the one at the end was very surprising to me. Listen, I hope that this helped, and I hope that you got something from this episode and understand that it's smart to eat protein frequently as long as you're not consuming too much. And getting your protein from good quality sources will give you the energy you need and will make you achieving your weight loss goals much easier. Thanks again for listening, family. I truly appreciate you riding with me week after week after week. If you would like to help support the podcast, hop on over to Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts and leave the show a 5-star review. You can also share this with someone you may know, or you can share the blog with somebody that you may know that may need this information. You can also go over to the website, the melaninwellnesspodcast.com, and leave me a voice mail, or you can leave a comment on a blog post that is companioning to this so that you can have your voice heard and let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you. I love getting you guys feedback. That's it for this episode, family. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next one.